What is it?
I've dropped by to see you, Behringer.
Who is it?
It's me.
Who's me?
Me, Dudar.
Ah, it's just you. Come in.
I hope I'm not disturbing you. The door's locked.
Oh, dear, oh dear.
Hello, Behringer.
Hello, Dudar.
So, still barricaded in your room, I see. Feeling any better, old man?
No. My voice doesn't sound a bit hoarse, does it?
Not that I notice.
Sure. Doesn't sound a bit hoarse.
Your voice hasn't changed. Why should it?
I don't know. Voices do change. They do change, alas.
What? What's the matter with you?
Don't know. Things change. They do change.
Have you caught cold as well?
Don't. I hope not. I hope I never will.
Why do you have this bandage on your head?
I haven't talked to myself. No, I'm just frightened of what might be under me.
There's no bump as far as I can see.
It's very reassuring, very reassuring.
If you don't
want to knock yourself. Just don't.
Obviously, one just has to take care. But what's the matter with you? You're all nervous and agitated. It must be your migraine. Just stay quiet and you'll feel better.
Migraines? Don't talk to me about migraines. Don't talk about
It's
them.
understandable you have a migraine after all that emotion.
Just can't get over it.
And it's not surprising you have a headache.
Must admit, it's fair.
You must be upset about Jean.
Yes, but Jean and all the others.
I realize it must have come as a shock to you.
Jean was my best friend. And to watch him change like that, he got so furious.
I know. I'm sorry. Try and not think about it.
How can I not think about it? He was so warm-hearted. He was so human. Past person that I hate to change.
You felt let down. I understand.
What if Jean was your best friend? We known each other for donkey's years. Then he just transformed it from me.
I'm sure he didn't do it specially to annoy you.
But it seemed as if he did. You'd seen his face.
It's just because you happened to be there at the time. It would have been the same no matter who was there.
But you'd think after all of our years together, he might have been able to control himself.
You think everything revolves around you. You think everything that happens concerns you personally. You are not the center of the universe, you know.
Perhaps you're right. I need to readjust myself. But the phenomenon in itself is so disturbing. To tell you the truth, it absolutely shatters me. What can be the explanation?
For the moment, I haven't found an exceptional explanation. I observe the facts. I take them in. They exist. So there must be an explanation. A freak of nature, perhaps? A bizarre caprice, an extravagant joke? A game? Who knows?
Jean was always so proud. Whereas me, I have no ambition, content to be who I am.
Perhaps he felt a need for some fresh air. The country. The wide open spaces. I'm not saying that's any excuse, but you must understand.
Beginning to shine daylight. Couldn't explain this phenomenon to me, but now you've provided me with a plausible explanation. Yes, he must have been under extenuating circumstances, temporarily unbalanced. But what of the others? The way he changed, the way he got so angry.
Well, there's still the epidemic theory. Like influenza, it's not the first time there's been an epidemic.
I'm frightened of catching it.
Oh, stop thinking about it. Really, you attach too much importance to the whole business. John's case was not symptomatic. He was not a typical case. You said yourself he was proud. In my opinion, if you will excuse me saying this about your friend, he was far too excitable. A bit wild and eccentric. You mustn't base your judgments off exceptions. It's the average case you must consider.
Ken, you're right, but what about the others?
In any case, you can be sure that but for the others didn't do what they did, became what they became simply to annoy you. They would not have gone through all that trouble.
Perhaps you're thinking. Sit down. No, Sean never drank. Just pretended to touch alcohol. It's too good. Want a drink?
No. Not for me, thank you. I never touch it, but don't mind me if you want some. You go right ahead. Don't worry about me, but watch out it doesn't make your headache worse.
I am. Alcohol's good for epidemics. Kills influenza microbes, for instance.
But maybe not all microbes. They don't know about rhinoceritis yet.
Right. Sure you won't have one?
Never before lunch, thank you. See, it makes you cough. You can't take it.
It was normal cough, right?
It was a cough, like anyone coughs when they drink something a bit strong.
Wasn't hoarse. Was it?
What are you getting at? It was an ordinary human cough. What other kind of cough would it have been?
I don't know, perhaps an animal?
Look, Berenger, you're being ridiculous. You invent difficulties for yourself. You ask yourself the weirdest questions. You said yourself, the best defense against this thing was willpower.
Yes.
Then prove you've got some.
I do.
Prove it to yourself. Now don't drink any more brandy. You'll feel more sure of yourself then. Well?
I'm terrified of seeing them. Maybe it's spiteful. But I'm obsessed with them in spite of myself. Keep me up at night. Get insomnia. During the day, I just lie awake, dozing away.
Take some sleeping tablets.
But then it's worse. I have nightmares.
See, that's what comes from taking things too seriously. You get a kick out of torturing yourself, admit it.
I'm not a masochist.
Then face the facts and get over it. This is the situation. And there's nothing you can do about it.
That's fatalism.
It's common sense. When a thing like this happens, there must be a reason. That's what we must find out.
Perhaps you're right. Only it happens in different countries. You could just hear about it in the newspapers. You'd have professors, the writers, the lawyers, all draw up writings. And then the blue stockings and philosophers. And the common man would just discuss it, idly go by about their day. But when you're staring these horrid facts in the face, you can't help but feel correctly formulated. Just can't get it out of my head. I can't be detached.
I'm surprised too, or rather I was. I'm starting to get used to it.
Just can't get used to it. Mere sight of it upsets me.
Judge not lest ye be judged. If you start worrying about everything that's happening, how are you going to go on living?
I feel directly in fault with everything that happens around me. I just can't help being completely attached to everything.
You worry me, Barringer. You're not making any sense. You talk like you know everything, yet your words form nothing. Calm yourself now and sit down. Dashing up and down the room like that can only make you more nervous.
True. You're correct. Sorry to make you listen to all my ramblings. You counted my papers for sick leave.
Yes, it's all taken care of. Don't worry about it. Anyway, the office hasn't resumed work yet.
What? How is it not? Have they not fixed the stairs yet?
They're repairing it now, but it's slow work. We're having trouble finding the workmen. They sign up and work for a couple of days and then don't turn up anymore. You never see them again. Then you have to find others.
And they talk about unemployment. Such negligence. Well, Mr. Papillon was none too pleased. Was it on account of the staircase? What did he have to say about it?
We don't have a chief anymore. Mr. Papillon resigned.
What? Why? Is it on account of the staircase?
I don't think so. At least that's not the reason he gave.
Well, why would he resign? He might have become the director.
He's retiring to the country.
He's not even of retiring age.
He's given it all up. Said he needed a rest.
Well, you with all your diplomas and such, will be looking for a replacement. You stand a good chance.
I suppose I might as well tell you. See, it's really rather funny. He turned into a rhinoceros.
Mr. Papillon turned into a rhinoceros? That's not funny at all! Why did you tell me?
You know you have no sense of humor. I didn't want to tell you. I didn't want to tell you because I knew you wouldn't see the funny side of things, and it would upset you. You know how impressionable you are.
No, it has to be wrong.
Oh, it's true, I assure you.
Must have had hidden complexes. Should have been psychoanalyzed.
Even if it's a case of dissociation, it's still very revealing. It was his way of sublimating himself.
Must have been talked into it.
It can happen to anybody.
Could have happened to you. Could have happened to me, could it?
We must hope not.
Because we don't want to change. We don't want to change. Tell me we talk.
Yes, of course.
Mr. Botar was none too pleased.
Oh, poor old Botar was quite indignant. Absolutely outraged. I'd rarely seen anyone so incensed.
Well, I'm with Mr. Botar. He's a man of common sense. To think that I misjudged him.
He misjudged you too.
That shows how objective I'm being. But you had your own quarrels with him in the past.
I wouldn't say we had our own quarrels. I admit, I didn't often agree with him. Never liked his skepticism, the way he was always so incredulous and suspicious. Even in this instance, I don't approve of him entirely.
This time for the opposite reasons.
No, not exactly. My own reasoning and my judgment are a bit more complex than you seem to think. It was because there was nothing precise or objective about the way Botar argued. I'm not a fan of the rhinoceroses myself. Don't go thinking that. Not at all. But Botar's attitude was too passionate, as usual, therefore oversimplified. His stand seems to me entirely dictated on hatred for his superiors. That's where he gets his inferiority complex and his resentment. What's more, he talks in cliches, and commonplace arguments leave me cold.
Well, I'm with Mr. Botar on this one. He's a man that's worthwhile.
I don't deny, but that doesn't mean anything.
Mr. Botar is a worthwhile man. He's got all 2 feet planted firmly on the ground. I will applaud him next time I see him. As for Mr. Papillon, I deplore his action.
How intolerant you are!
And you're far too tolerant, too broad-minded.
Maybe Mr. Papillon felt the need to relax after all those years of office life. My dear Berenger. One must always make an effort to understand. And in order to understand a phenomenon and its effects, we must work back to the initial causes. Through honest, intellectual effort. We must try and do this because, after all, we are thinking beings. I haven't yet succeeded, and I don't know if I shall succeed. But in any case, we must start out favorably disposed, or at least impartial. We must keep an open mind. It is essential to a scientific mentality. Everything is logical. To understand is to justify.
You planning on siding with them?
No, not at all. Don't go that far. I'm just trying to look the facts unemotionally in the face. I'm trying to be realistic. I also contend that there is no real evil in what occurs naturally. I don't believe in seeing the evil in everything. I leave that for the Inquisitors.
You call this natural?
What could be more natural than a rhinoceros?
Man, morphing into a rhinoceros is beyond the question.
That's a matter of opinion.
No! It is far beyond the question.
You seem very sure of yourself. Who's to say where the normal stops and the abnormal begins? Can you, personally, define the conceptions of normality and abnormality? Nobody has solved these problems yet, either medically or philosophically. You want to know that?
You can't solve these philosophically, but in practice, they're simple. There's nothing to say or prove that you can walk. Yet, as a child, you get up and you move. And as you take each step, you tell yourself, just as Galileo did, "Ise per mover."
What are you talking about? You're confusing the issue. Galileo's case was the opposite. Theoretic and scientific knowledge proving itself superior over mass opinion and dogmatism.
Mass opinion? Dogmatism? They're just words! I might be jumbled up, but you're losing your head. You don't know what's normal anymore. I don't care about Galileo. I don't give a damn about Galileo!
You brought him up in the first place and raised the whole issue, saying how practice always had the last word. Maybe it does. But only when it proceeds from theory. The history of thought and science proves that.
You'll always be able to dance dreams around me. Degrees. That's why you're so at ease in this conversation.
You're getting all head up. I know our opinions don't exactly coincide. We can still discuss the matter peaceably. These things should be discussed.
Getting all head up, you should say. You think I'm getting all head up? Angry. I'm angry like Sean. No, it doesn't pay to be angry. You can't be angry. But I must wonder, what were these circumstances? It must have been aggravating. I feel it instinctively. No, rhinoceroses are the ones